Before we get into the demo, I'm putting a disclaimer here about the contents discussed during this video. This is a serious topic, so I'll be talking about it in a serious tone. I'll be teaching you today how to safely oil a firearm, specifically an M&P Shield Plus 9mm handgun. I've been doing this process since I was about 8 years old. My dad taught me the basics of firearm safety and the firearms in general. I want to emphasize the importance of safety in surroundings where I am now. I do live off campus, and this process was done legally without endangering myself or others. So before we start, I just once again want to clarify that I do live off campus, and what I'm doing here is completely legal and it's safe. No one's around me, making sure I'm not a danger to anybody else. So if you've never shot a firearm, never oiled it, or you've never even cleaned one, make sure you read the manual first. Every firearm comes with a manual. Just read it. It's not hard to read. I mean, they make it super simple. Every firearm manufacturer is required to send you one. Some of the tools you're going to need, firstly gun oil for lubricant. You're going to need a rag for cleaning. You're going to need this. I'll show you how to use this later in the video. And then you're going to need a cleaning kit. So let's get into it. So to start, you're essentially going to take the lower receiver apart from the slide. And the way to do that, there's two things, for lack of a better word, that keep the firearm together. You have to cock it back here like this, make sure it catches. You're going to push this up when you're all the way back to catch it, and then you're going to press this lever down at the front here, and then there's a little pin here in the middle. If you look right here at this pin, it's right underneath that. And so what you're going to do is you're going to grab your stick or sharp object and there, push that pin in the middle. If you can see that, just like that, that little pin right here is the one you're going to be wanting to hit. And then once you have those two things undone, you're able to pull the slide from the lower frame. So now you have the two main parts of the firearm. Once you have the two main parts, you're going to start with this top slide here. You're going to take the recoil spring out of it. You're not going to really need this later on. It's just essentially to get to the barrel. You're going to slide the barrel out just like that, and then it comes out. Once you have these four parts apart, you can oil it. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your gun oil. I use Hops, but there's Lucas Oil makes some. There's a bunch of other manufacturers for it. What you're going to do is you're going to put this on the end of your barrel. Just a nice amount, maybe 4 or 5 drops, a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch in on the barrel. And then you're just going to rub your finger around the barrel a few times. And then the other spot on the barrel you're going to oil is right here next to these engraved letters, right here. Again, just put just a little bit there. Pretty much the only spots you're going to oil are the spots that have the most friction on the firearm when firing. So now that the top part's done here, we're going to move this lower receiver. There's 5 spots, that need to be oiled on this. These 2 back slide mounts and these 2 front slide mounts, and then right here in the middle of the 2 front slide mounts. So what you're going to do is you're just going to put, again, just a few drops of gun oil on each. And these you're just going to rub sideways, back and forth across, just like that, to make sure it gets all the way across, and make sure it goes underneath and around, because that's where your slide rail is, or your slide rail goes. So just do that on the front and back rails. And then right here on this little spot. Once you have that oiled, you're really done oiling it. So it's already time for reassembly. So what you're going to start with is you're going to take your barrel and your upper slide, and you're going to put the barrel into it, and then it will click into place just like that. Once you have those two back together, you can take a recoil spring and you can push it back into place just like that. Now you want to make sure you push it all the way down against this slide and make sure that it's lined up straight. If you have it off to the side, it won't go back onto the rails. Once you have this slide back together, you can take your lower receiver, and this can just slide on just like this. And then you're going to cock it all the way back and press your catch again. And there's this little mechanism right in there when you push this up to keep your slide back. And again, the same way you opened it, you're going to close it. So you're going to hit this lever forward, and then you're going to go in here, and you can still see that little pin. I'm just going to close that with my finger. Once you have that closed, your gun's been oiled. Just rack it a few times, and it's ready to go. Now that you know how to oil a firearm, I want to reiterate the safety and seriousness of the topics discussed. Please remember to be safe with your firearms and know the laws and regulations surrounding them in your state and jurisdiction.